What I remember is that I was getting ready to, was living on Catherine Street. I was getting ready to come up to rehearsal for Rose Tattoo. And that I was running a little late, and I was scurrying to get out the door, and the phone rang, and it was my mom, and she said a plane just crashed into the World Trade Center, and her friend from Chicago had called her, and she said, turn on the news, turn on the news. And I said, Mom, I have to get to rehearsal. And I thought it could only have been like a small commercial, not a commercial plane, but like a private pilot. I assumed it was something like that, and I thought that it sounded like a terrible thing, but I had no idea of the magnitude. And I remember kind of going, Mom, I got to get to rehearsal, and thinking that, you know, she, because she's retired, had the time to pay attention to these things that I could not. Ha ha ha. Made my way up to rehearsal, and I remember vividly walking in and seeing Peter Brown, who was directing Rose Tattoo, and everybody else in the room. I'm sure Laurie was there, and Jim, just standing stock still and opening the door and seeing in their face a sort of shock and a kind of utter disbelief, and wasn't connecting it to what my mom had said, and said, what? And they said a plane hit the World Trade Center, and then saying, you know, well, my mom just told me about that, and then starting to grasp the magnitude of what had happened, and us kind of not quite knowing what to do. And I think it was around that time that the other plane hit, and then we really didn't know what to do, but for some reason felt that we were there, that we should try to rehearse, that there was nothing we could do. Then I remember Jerry Matheny coming in from the shop and telling us that one of the towers had fallen. And I remember thinking that he was exaggerating, that was not possible, that was not possible. I think that whole day was just utter disbelief that such a thing could be. And I just remember thinking, oh, he's exaggerating. That's not possible. But then going in and having the radio on in the shop and hearing the voices on the radio, at which point we decided to disband rehearsal, and we went back to my house because it was the closest place. And the incredible importance of being together, how important it felt that we were in the same room, and then watching the images. And Beth Chiarelli, who was a guest artist in the show, had a good friend who worked in one of the towers, and so very quickly going from feeling that this was happening to people that I did not know, to having someone in the room who was waiting to hear whether someone that they knew closely had been killed, and watching that image and watching someone who had a whole different stake in it see that image and the unbearable reality of that, and then wanting so much to be with my children and wondering how to process this with them, and what they were hearing and what we should be doing on their behalf, immediately thinking about that. And then hearing about the plane over Shanksville in Pennsylvania, and at that point a different kind of, oh my God, we're under attack. I remember that feeling of just sort of looking at each other and going, you know, should we be hiding? You know, or not hiding, but just feeling that this was just what they had wanted to have happen.